Here we go.
Going live.
Hey everybody, welcome
Hello.
back to the channel. I have this mysterious man with me today. Not sure, who are you? Will you introduce yourself, please?
There are those who call me Tim. That's a Monty Python reference for those of you movie buffs who enjoy the Monty Python genre of things. My name is Lee. I don't know, is there a resemblance? Come on a little bit closer.
Do you want to guess who this is?
He calls me Dad.
Yes, I occasionally do call him Dad. He's really just a random guy picked up off the street, though. All right, so we're going... No, yeah, this is my dad.
Random guy.
This is my dad. So I have a feeling like a lot of people who are going to be watching this are going to be like, oh, that's cool, he has his dad. Oh, wait, he doesn't have any friends to have on. That's why he But no, it's really because like we just moved here and obviously school hasn't started yet, so I haven't had an opportunity to...
Or maybe he's just not that likable.
Or maybe I'm not likable, that could also be a thing. I mean, I do have a persona on my YouTube channel for sure. Behind this facade, there's not much going on. Okay, so the topic of today's episode is basically action movies. We're going to be talking about a ton of different topics within that realm. The previous stream I did was called classic and modern horror movies. It wasn't just called horror. Even though I just named this one action movies, that would have taken up too much space on the thumbnail, and I wanted to put a ton of epic pictures of various action heroes on there.
Yeah. The thing I like most about action movies and why I thought this was a really good topic for today was action movies really cross over into all kinds of different genres. You've got the sci-fi action movies, you got the action thrillers, you've got action comedies. And no matter what your flavor, no matter what your background is, no matter even your communication style, there's probably an action movie out there that can generate some adrenaline and some feelings of excitement, but it also plays to whatever your sensibility. So action movies are for everybody. Yeah,
that's a very good point. And I know that we are like humongous fans of action movies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, recently we kind of got into a thing of watching like really crappy indie horror. Like that was just
on purpose.
Yeah.
You were just, you know how it is. You watch Amazon Prime, you're like, oh, this one's free. Let's check it out. 3.5 stars.
Yeah. In fact,
who gave that movie 4 stars?
Exactly. It's like there was this movie called In the Dark of Night, and like the first 5 minutes were really good. Like, the first 5 minutes were genuinely cheesy, but, good. Yes. And then the rest of it is like, what?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have a rule in the house, right? If it's a movie that we haven't heard of, but it has a decent rating, we'll give it the 10-minute test.
10 minutes in, if we're not interested.
If it can capture our attention, for all you young directors out there.
Yes.
If you can capture our attention in the first 10 minutes, you've got us. If you can't, we're good. For all of you movie critics out there, if you're rating a movie 4 stars in the first 10 minutes, stop it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what a lot of people... I mean, I've actually read critics' reviews who just watch the movie and then they kind of fast forward to different parts and they don't even watch the whole thing and then they just give... I mean, why would you do that? I mean, obviously there's some of the best critics out there who obviously a lot of people don't agree with a lot of the time, like Roger Ebert. He's one of the most famous critics of all time. He had a lot of very unpopular opinions.
You know what's funny about Roger Ebert, though, is a lot of movies where he went against the grain, when like pop culture was trashing movies, he would give them thumbs up and he would see things in the movie that were valuable. Like The Cell is a classic movie where everybody at the time hated it. But looking back on the artistry, the storytelling, and the cinematography of that film, Roger Ebert was one of the only guys who loved it and gave it 2 thumbs up.
And years later, people look back on that movie. I actually do know what movie you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but people do look back on that movie and kind of see it as like this underrated gem, sort of.
Yeah.
And that was something I feel like Roger
Ebert.
Not
allowed to watch it yet.
Not really. There's a lot of movies. I mean, there's some movies where we haven't watched Whiplash yet.
Not yet.
We did say that I was officially going to be watching that this summer.
We are going to take a look at it. It's a good storytelling movie. A lot of profanity.
Yeah.
But the profanity in the movie is contextual, and I caution a lot of parents or anybody who would be watching this movie. Those things are in the world, and if your family is mature enough to be able to handle some of the things that are in the world, share it with them so that you can kind of control the context in which those things are received.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody.
I mean, I haven't even seen it, but like even from the trailers and just the plot, and J.K. Simmons basically playing like a much more vulgar version of J. Jonah Jameson. It's almost like if J. Jonah Jameson from Raimi's Spider-Man movies kind of shaved his head and then was put in a rated R movie. Is that kind of what it is? I have a feeling that's what because I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm just guessing. That's not an action movie, though.
Right.
But a lot of times with intros to these types of shows, we talk about random stuff to just get discussions going.
Mhm.
But that actually is a very good segue into another thing that I expected we would kind of be talking about, and that is exploitation. Because there are a lot of very violent action movies out there.
There are.
And there's some action movies where it's very tastefully done, like, say, John Wick. Very violent movie, but there's such a great emotional heft there with the story of revenge. And obviously you don't condone going around New York City and killing a bunch of people.
Right.
At least I would hope you wouldn't. Don't do that. That's weird. But basically, it's not excessive. And I actually talked about this in my horror movie thing, where a lot of horror movies...
There are some scenes, I object to that. There are some scenes in John Wick that are a little excessive.
There are some parts that are excessive, but it never took me out and be like, you really did that, you know? Like,
Right.
It's kind of like there... And I don't want to get into too much detail here.
A lot of people don't realize that the John Wick character is actually a comic book character.
Yes,
and
very much.
When you're discussing movies that are based on comic books, you have to allow for a little bit of excess. The entire Avengers series.
Yeah.
Nobody has a problem with excess because we understand those characters to be superhuman and fictional and
unless you're
based on comic
Deadpool.
books.
Unless you're Deadpool. I haven't seen Deadpool, don't worry. That'll be many more years.
Yeah.
Comic books do tend to be more graphic, though. I just in violence, not in other stuff that we're not necessarily going to talk about, but just in violence. Comic books, I mean, you gotta hand it to them, though. It is some amazing artwork in some of the comic books. Like, even if it's a very violent situation, there is like a talent there when people are, doing those types of
Wasn't
things.
checking the time, by the way.
Oh yeah,
My watch telling me that I have to do 33 more steps.
Yeah,
before the hour is up. So rock and roll.
Exactly, and we're 7 minutes in right now. We're 7 minutes in. One person's watching.
Hi, whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
Like, subscribe, thumbs up.
It's like, this is the person that I really commend.
I tell you what, tell all your friends, get them to subscribe. And if we get 10 subscribers before, let's see, what time is it? It is 2:50 Central Time. If we get 10 new subscribers before 3:30 Central Time, we'll do an encore presentation at 8 o'clock tonight, Central Time.
Sure.
10 subscribers before the bottom of the hour.
Let's do it.
Like, share, subscribe. Do your thing.
And click that push notifications button, because YouTube's kind of stupid. They don't really like small channels like that. They'll kind of just push them to the side. For example, smaller channels won't get videos put in the trending tab or the recommended tab.
Right.
So if you push that little bell beside the subscribe button, you'll be notified every time I upload anything. And by the way, I do want to apologize for the lack of videos lately, but honestly, the move hasn't necessarily been hectic. But like, I came down here early.
Hasn't been hectic for him.
No, not for me.
For me, it's been great.
Yeah, I've kind of like shut myself off from that realm because I just want to enjoy life.
That's all I want to do too.
Yeah, but you can't because you're an adult.
Right.
So I have a few more years.
I think I walked into something there. I don't know.
Maybe
if you think I walked into something.
Yeah, you may have tapped yourself. Okay, so I guess now we're going to get into the first major topic, because we were talking before we started the stream about how we were going to, first 30 minutes we're going to be talking about
complete improv, didn't rehearse at all.
Completely. I mean, we don't have a script. That is one thing.
This much is true.
I had a script for the horror movie thing. I had notes to look at, and there was a part where I legit just read a full paragraph because I didn't want to mess up what I was saying. But it was kind of like a very robotic thing. I don't know, like Julianne Moore in a lot of her movies. But that's not the point. We're basically talking about classic action movies.
She tries so
She
hard.
tried. You know, she's good. She's good in this movie right here. You remember this movie? Talking about action movies.
Wait a minute. Didn't she play Clarice in one of the later Hannibal films?
It was, yeah, because
after Jodie Foster was finished with the role?
Yeah. She...
Did
Julianne
comment if you know what title that movie was?
Yes, please
I think she did. Ooh, it was the one with Ray Liotta.
Wasn't there's a show called Hannibal, wasn't there? It ran for like 3 seasons and then it was ended.
A show. Yeah.
It's on Netflix now. People are actually saying it's really good, and it was announced that Netflix is actually reviving it to reboot it and bring it back for a 4th season. But I mean,
to
that's
say,
cool.
Not interested.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the character's been played out. They developed the character to fruition.
Yeah,
and I don't know where else they could go with it. I mean, he's a strange guy with a strange appetite.
it's a very strange appetite. Eat his liver with some fava beans.
You know, now interestingly enough, if they hadn't completely ruined the Indiana Jones storyline, I felt like they could have taken that. I mean, who knows where they could have taken that.
I mean, and that's another thing too. We were going to discuss bad action movies, and you look at Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That is a very George Lucas made Spielberg do it though.
There were great action sequences in the film.
Yes, the jungle chase. I thought. I mean, except for when Shia LaBeouf is like swinging from vines away from monkeys. That was.
But even the way it was shot, though,
it was shot. But yeah, with Spielberg,
there was
always
a sense of urgency.
Yeah,
you know, it was consistent with the rest of the movie. Unfortunately,
I
think the real tragedy there was Harrison Ford was really excited about where he felt that he could take the character of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because I find the idea of an older, more like hardened Indiana Jones is kind of cool.
Yeah, like even Indiana Jones is a mentor. I mean, the sky was really the limit with the character.
Yeah.
And it was one of those movies that played to multiple audiences. There wasn't a specific demographic like the John Wick films that we referenced earlier. You're looking for a specific demographic to play to.
Yeah. And maybe not even necessarily with age, but because a lot of people, when they think of demographic, they think of like an age range, like 15 to 20 or 20 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's actually a very big range. But it's also just like the types of genres people, like a 15-year-old who likes revenge stories would very much like John Wick, but any other 15-year-old might watch John Wick and be bored.
Right.
Because it is a lot of like there is a heavy theme of grief, and there are scenes where he's and so certain kids at the age of 15 might find that boring, but a kid at the age of 15 who has a more mature look at things, and I'm not referring to anyone in particular here, but anyone who has like a more mature look at things and can appreciate the storytelling there might like it, and say, I don't know, I mean, I doubt it, but like a 95-year-old man may watch John Wick and be like,
yeah,
I mean, that's an exaggeration of age, but
I mean, there are scenes in the Wick movies, and I think the other one was Artemis Hotel, very similar film aimed at the same demographic of folks. And that one starred Jodie Foster and John Bautista.
Yeah, Jodie Foster,
fantastic actors, but I guess I'm just no longer in the demographic.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts of the movies that I find entertaining, but I'm looking for more of a story.
Yeah.
I'm looking for character growth. And Indiana Jones offered that to me, but it also offered other demographics what they were looking for in films. And what was really interesting is Temple of Doom. The reason that so many people were outraged by Temple of Doom,
it was dark,
was because it really offended a large portion of the audience for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That then Last Crusade repaired.
Yeah, and I mean, if you actually look at it, you look at when Last Crusade first came out, and it was kind of like a Force Awakens situation where people were like, this is literally just copying the formula of the first film. Now look at it like years later, and most people agree that The Last Crusade is actually the best Indiana Jones film. Now, I personally think Raiders of the Lost Ark is still the best. It always goes between those. But it's funny because Force Awakens is an action movie. We can discuss that. When Force Awakens came out, a lot of people really liked it. It actually tied with Empire Strikes Back as like the most beloved Star Wars film. But it did follow. It is undeniable that it followed a very similar formula to A New Hope. Like in A New Hope, it was the Empire, and The Force Awakens, Empire's gone. Now you have the First Order. Kylo Ren, Darth Vader. Like there's parallels there. But it actually changed up the formulas quite a bit, and it introduced new characters that were compelling. So maybe while the story wasn't exactly the most original thing, it changed up the formula enough to the point where it worked. I mean, for me anyway.
For me, it felt more like chocolate chip cookies.
Oh.
Chocolate chip cookies are fantastic, right?
Yes.
Well, what happens when I make a chocolate chip cookie? Well, it's still a chocolate chip cookie. It's just got more chocolate. So, okay. Well, it's just as good as a chocolate chip cookie. It just tastes a little bit different.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. Well, what happens if we put a little bit of frosting on top of the chocolate chip cookie? Well, it's still a chocolate chip cookie.
Also known as BB-8.
Right.
He was the frosting for me in that movie.
You know, I mean, it's just, but there comes a point where now it's too sweet. Now it's too rich, and I need a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, to kind of continue the parallel, the cup of coffee for me in The Last Skywalker was the role that Luke Skywalker played. And just the more taking on that, first of all, the clever role instead of the mentor role, I thought was a really good added nuance to his character. And then the ethereal mentor. It was nice as somebody who grew up with A New Hope.
Yeah.
And
the original trilogy, which is just incredible.
And and somebody who waited in line with a bunch of costumed people to see The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Oh man. Did you like the Force Awakens, right?
You know, I gotta say, when we left the theater, the excitement was so rich for those films to come out.
It might have been overhyped.
And it wasn't overhyped at all, because we were all so desperate to see these films again, because George Lucas and Lucasfilm had re-released all the original films in cinematic releases, remastered with new CG.
Yeah,
which was wonderful.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. The audience was starving for it. It was great to see. It was great to hear, and just have that theatrical experience. But when Force Awakens was released, we were, I mean, you know, the read-in hit the screen.
Yeah,
the sound, the music, everything was fantastic.
Took you right back to when you saw the originals for the first time.
And then when we left the theater, we all had this weird grin on our face, like, did we like it?
Yeah, because you're in slight denial, because you're like,
what was the Jar Jar thing? Was it good?
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's like when the Phantom Menace came out, and everyone was so excited, because I personally don't think Return of the Jedi is as good as the first two.
Right. But
I do really like Return of the Jedi. I'm not a fan of the Ewok stuff.
Okay.
And that was like the first hint to me that Star Wars may not always be like perfect, you know?
Right. Well, and they're not, right? They're made by flawed human beings. So you're not going to find a perfect film. You will find films out there that are close to perfect.
Yes, I mean, you know,
I don't care how many Zackhams he gives out, which, by the way, I love the Zackham.
I haven't given one in a while.
Right.
Speaking of which, the video that I recently posted of me reacting to my first video, and I made the update that I give Nightcrawler 10 out of 10.
Which I haven't watched yet. But
which you haven't watched, and you're probably not going to enjoy segments of that, because it's kind of your son just kind of insulting himself for 10 minutes. But I do that off camera, too.
I don't like it when people do that.
Self-deprecating humor can be good when it's used in the right time. We got a comment.
When he does it.
We got a comment.
Oh, we got a comment.
I thought the Ewok battle on Endor was better than the battle on Moth. Personally, I do really like the that's Mr. Movie, by the way. He's a good YouTube friend.
Yeah.
Let's see. Star Wars is overrated. I can agree with that.
Go for it.
I will agree with that. I got to be honest with you. There are parts of the original trilogy that drag for me. Empire Strikes Back is competition with Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. And honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards Rogue One, and I know that's going to like make a lot of people really mad.
Far, Rogue One is my favorite of the Star Wars genre.
Because it had such a grounded feel to it. It didn't go around the galaxy as much, you know?
Well, they didn't waste time on the characters.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the characters were developed to fruition, and they all served their purpose in the story, and that's so hard to find.
Yeah.
Especially in a huge, large-budget sci-fi film as it's moved through. But what's interesting is Star Wars is overrated. That's because you're looking at it at a different point in time and a different point in pop culture. You have to remember that those first three films, they really met a need for American pop culture at the time.
They were like milestones.
We were starving for something, because back then the economy wasn't doing great.
Yeah.
We were coming kind of out of the Vietnam era. Our president had just just resigned because he was caught in a lie. That was Richard Nixon.
It wasn't the best time.
It wasn't the best.
It was a lot of dark stuff.
And here comes this movie subtitled A New Hope.
Yeah.
And it took people out of what they were doing.
I never thought about that. It was called A New Hope.
Gave them something new and something original. And I know there's a bunch of haters out there who thinks he stole the storyline from Dune. We can get into that another time.
The original Dune movie is, to be honest.
And it's like anything. You take the first bite of ice cream is a perfect example.
Yes.
That first bite of a sundae, boom, it's awesome and you're hooked.
Amazing.
But by the time you actually get halfway through the sundae, are you really tasting it anymore?
Yeah,
you're just hooked on the first bite that you had.
That's actually, and I don't want to get too far into this because I don't want to get...
Great comment, though.
Yes. Great comment. I feel like a lot of people will say comments of like if someone just randomly said very abruptly, Jaws is overrated. It's not. Don't say that. But if someone says Jaws is overrated, I mean, that comment, it's all subjective. If you look into any film, you're going to find a flaw. You can look into Jaws and you're going to find a flaw. There's something there because it's not like it was made by Jesus, it's not like a perfect human being made Jaws.
Not a filmmaker.
Not a filmmaker. No. A waymaker.
Hey,
a waymaker
well
right
done.
There. Awesome.
Well done.
But
no, the Ewok battle on Endor. I want to get back to Mr.
Yes.
Movie here. He's got the Ewok battle on Endor was better than the battle on Hoth. If that is an interesting comment.
I do really like the way the Ewok battle, because I didn't like the Ewok subplot necessarily, but the way the Ewok battle was filmed and edited, and honestly, some of the special effects they used, like even before the patches when Lucas went back and added an extra CG, the special effects they used, it wasn't necessarily CG, there was some green screen work going on.
Yeah.
It actually holds up fairly well.
I think it does. And the other thing that I really liked about the Ewok battle is it's multi-dimensional.
Yes.
The battle on Hoth, man, I couldn't agree more. The battle on Hoth is so one-dimensional.
It really is.
And really, until you watch Empire for maybe the second or third time, you really can't even follow the battle.
Yeah, it is.
What is actually even happening here?
Yeah, and it's not like it was like a shaky cam type thing, but it was edited very fast.
Right.
It's like you saw one thing flash by the screen, but then immediately after that, another thing flashed by the screen.
Yeah.
You see ships blow up, and you're like, main characters could be, they don't, but main characters could be dying right now, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden the Empire's invading, and, the rebels are trying to flee, but they're launching a counteroffensive, and then they start making progress, and then all of a sudden everybody's gone, and Luke's on his way to Dagobah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's like, it does feel very, it's very jarring. Like, it's very abrupt. It's kind of like you go from that big moment, which is exciting. Like, I liked the Hoth battle overall, just as a scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the worst action scene in any Star Wars film by any means.
Yeah.
Most of that would probably go to Phantom Menace. I like the Phantom Menace. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I don't hate I don't like Attack of the Clones.
So, that's actually a really good... we got a comment.
Quick ranking of the Star Wars movie. How would you rank all... Okay, well, here's the thing. When I rank the Star Wars movies, I normally rank it by the trilogies. I would say the original trilogy is the best. I actually like the sequel trilogy more than the prequels. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I would say the sequel trilogy, especially including
let's do it by individual movie, because nobody ever does that.
Yeah, that's true.
What is the best of the canon and not the offshoots? So we're not talking about Rogue One. We're not talking about Solo.
Yeah. And I think those were the only two offshoots, actually.
Well, we kind of got Mandalorian also.
Yeah, by the way, Mandalorian's really good.
I believe,
I really like the Mandalorian.
When you can make me care about an android.
Yeah. And
especially a bounty hunter android that gets reprogrammed as a nanny.
Yeah.
Make me care about it. That's pretty good storytelling.
Yeah, that's pretty good writing right there.
Okay, Attack of the Clones. Yep.
Yeah, Attack of the... Here's the thing I
haven't seen Attack of the Clones, so I'm going to have to buy out of that one.
You really haven't?
Go for it.
Oh, wow, don't.
Oh, wait, no, I did.
Attack of the Clones was the second
I was thinking Clone Wars, the animated series.
Oh, yeah, which is actually good, by the way.
I've heard.
Certain person out there watches it religiously.
Yeah. My wife is a huge fan of all the animated Star Wars series.
So, what was I going to say?
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clone. I'll get to your comment in a minute. Attack of the Clones was bogged down with the whole the romance stuff with Anakin and Padme. It was Yeah, Sorry, I had a conniption for a second. It was Anakin and Padme, and I get what Lucas.
That's a good list, by the way. We'll get to that in just a second.
Okay, I get what Lucas wanted to do. He wanted to make the prequels.
Yeah.
And and I honestly kind of feel bad for him now, because when the prequels came out, we all gave him crap for the prequels. We were like, dude, you suck. Like, this is not good. And then a few years
Which
later,
is crazy because George Lucas does not suck.
No, he's a revolutionary filmmaker.
We maybe just missed the mark a little bit on the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, the prequels aren't the best executed movies. There are a lot of bad things. Jar Jar. There are a lot of bad things in the prequels.
That's kind of played out too.
It really is. Yeah. But like, then you look, and he was like, okay, whatever, and then he sold his company.
Yeah.
He sold his company to Disney, and now he hasn't actually said it was because of all the hate he was getting, but you look at all that pressure he was getting, and he even came out and said that he didn't want to make all these Star Wars.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh for a second. I remembered something Carrie Fisher said before she passed.
What did she say?
She said every time she looks in a mirror, she owes George Lucas $8.
That was on that documentary we watched. There's a great documentary on Disney Plus right now, talking about the whole origin of the Star Wars franchise. But basically, Lucas was under all this pressure. He was getting all this hate, and he came out and said he didn't want to make any more Star Wars movies. Yeah. So he sold his company to Disney. Force Awakens came out, which I love The Force Awakens still. Like, I know it's very derivative, and it's not necessarily the best movie. I wouldn't rank it as the best movie in the franchise. But I thought it was a good next step. And then, Last Jedi came out, which quite literally divided the fan base. It was almost exactly half of fans loved it, half of the fans hated it. Where are you on The Last Jedi? Let's talk about that Rey and Kylo fight.
Ironically enough, I'm divided.
Yeah.
I mean, the true original Star Wars fan in me that saw Empire and Jedi in the theaters, I watched Last Jedi, and there were moments that I just, man, they nailed that. They got that right. And there were moments where I'm just like, I wish I had been in the writing room.
Oh my goodness.
I would have smacked somebody.
Do you remember Rose?
Figuratively speaking. I'm not a violent person.
Well, actually, before we get too far on, I do want to get to him, because I don't want to just forget about this comment. Empire, Revenge, A New Hope, Force Awakens, Phantom Return, and Attack of the Clones. That's actually basically my list, pushing aside Rogue One and Solo.
I actually got a question. If you're still willing to type it up, what did you like most about Revenge?
Yeah. Just tell us.
Struggle with that movie a little bit. So.
It is, in my opinion, Revenge of the Sith is the best prequel, because it's the payoff to what the previous two were building up from. Mm-hmm. Like, it's where we finally get to. I mean, Hayden Christensen didn't give the best performance as Anakin, in my opinion. He was kind of wooden, like that last scene, because here's the thing. Well, especially when set beside Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor was great as Obi-Wan. He said, even if his lines were terrible, like, it's over, Anakin, I have the high ground. It's like, that's kind of cringy. I forgot The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Would put Skywalker after Return and Last Jedi after
Skywalker.
Yeah, okay.
Although we may be getting dangerously close to being a Star Wars breakdown.
That's true. We don't want to get into that. I mean, they are action movies, technically. Yeah. I thought Revenge of the Sith had way too much CGI compared to the other movies. That's true. Revenge of the Sith did have, and I think that also comes with the time. It was the early 2000s. CGI was around in the 80s.
I'm sorry, this just caught me. The one thing that I loved about Revenge was the way they captured Darth Vader's first breath.
That's true. Not the no line.
Not the no line.
But his first breath.
When he took that first breath, I remember being in the theater and just getting chills.
Yeah, it's like,
because he's such an epic villain, and he's really transcended Dracula as one of the most epic villains in movie history. You know, because for the longest time, if you were just looking for a pit of darkness, it was going to be Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
You know, based somewhat on Vlad the Impaler, if you do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
But Darth Vader has long surpassed what Dracula was to, our grandparents.
Yeah. We got a couple more comments here.
This is great, guys. Thanks.
Definitely the most interactive stream thus far.
Yeah.
I thought Revenge of the Sith. Okay, we already read that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like Revenge of the Sith because it had the best duel and Darth Vader transformation. That's true. It was the culmination of everything we were wanting the first two movies to kind of build up to, but it was really like a lot of Senate meetings in the first two movies, and then the romance with Padme and Anakin. I get what they were trying to do there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was honestly the script. It was the for me. That Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes.
When Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were battling
General Grievous?
No,
it was. Oh, dang it! No, it wasn't Grievous.
Force Awakens.
It was
Force Awakens.
Kylo Ren.
Help me out.
It was Kylo Ren, right?
Come on.
No.
You said face guy with the horns.
Darth Maul. That was Phantom Menace.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Phantom Menace.
Yes. He kind of looks like
that was a pretty epic battle, with the exception of Qui-Gon getting, killed in the manner that he did.
And obviously, we're gonna talk spoilers with these movies. They came out 20 years ago, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And plus,
Phantom Menace.
Everyone knows. Speaking of Darth Maul, he kind of looks like the demon from Insidious, doesn't he? Do you remember the demon from Insidious?
He kind of does.
And it's kind of like the weird fan of me is kind of like, is Insidious like the epilogue to the Phantom Menace?
But again, maybe it's time to move forward back into some action. So what are some other action films that we can go maybe away from the Star Wars genre?
Yes, because the first part of we're already 30 minutes in, and if we have to go longer than planned, we're not going to go too much longer because I don't want to keep you here for any longer because you do have somewhere to be this afternoon. And I got to take him around to 5-star restaurants. He requires a lot when he's in town.
This guy's eaten better than he ever has before.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, so yeah, we're going to get into more classic action movies. Star Wars is it's a very easy thing to talk about. So that's why we kind of went on.
Jedi.
Have you played Star Wars Fallen Jedi? Came out I've played some of the Star Wars games. I haven't played Fallen Jedi. If you don't know, there were two.
I'm exclusive Rocket League guy.
Yeah.
If you want to play some Rocket League, hit me up.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Aircap Outcast.
Actually, Aircab Outcast is my Instagram handle.
That's your IG.
Cav Leader.
Is
who I am. Cross-platform. I'm on PS4. Hit me up, and we'll play some epic Rocket League.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't sponsored by Nike, by the way.
Not sponsored by Nike.
I do have to point that
out. Or the Billfish tournament.
Yeah, or the Billfish tournament, which was awesome, by the way.
Right. Tom Clancy movies like Patriot Games.
Oh, Patriot Games.
Tom Clancy is a master.
Yes.
Interesting thing about Tom Clancy. One of the things I love about Tom Clancy, he actually received a call from a government agency, not to be named, that asked him where he was receiving his information because some of the things he was putting in his novels was so accurate that they actually said, did you conclude this or did somebody feed this to you? Because if they fed this to you, we need to know who it was. Yeah.
It's so Tom Clancy, how did he get that info? Let's look back on it.
So there's a lot of authors who have really, really great connections to different areas in the military community. So what they will do is they'll get info through open source media sources and then just take the next step. Michael Crichton did it a lot in science fiction.
Yes.
Take Jurassic Park, for example. Jurassic Park was a thing. Or the movie.
I mean, they are fairly different. But...
So cloning has just hit mainstream pop culture. And what we could do with cloning was still in its infancy. So took what he knew. He graduated Harvard Medical School.
Yeah.
He took what he knew about medicine, what was available on open source media about cloning, took the next step, and all of a sudden we've got a great dinosaur movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Dinosaur book.
That's the thing.
Tom Clancy does the same thing with military stuff.
Yeah, he has a bunch of knowledge. Now, I love Spielberg as a director. We will talk about 90s action movies because you got Speed. Yeah. I have not seen Speed. You have seen Speed. I need to watch Speed.
Let me just tell you what Speed did. After Speed came out, for about 2 or 3 years, everybody was quoting, "What do you do? What do you do?"
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen Speed, and I know of that. And just think about the plot. And this is something I think a lot of action movies struggle with nowadays. It's the plot because I mean, there's only so many times when some really evil guy threatens to blow up the world, or some big rich guy sitting behind a counter who talks like this and strokes his cat who just wants a lot of money. It's kind of like if you
you just summarized every Bond villain ever in like 30 seconds.
Lashif in Casino Royale was
I'll tell you what, ever since Daniel Craig joined the franchise, I have
so excited for No Time to Die.
My father was a huge James Bond fan, but the genre or the franchise never really played to me.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig joined the franchise, and I was like, wow, these movies have really reset what I love about this character. I know he doesn't enjoy playing the character.
Yeah.
Daniel, if you should run across this
ever,
please, if you don't want to play the character anymore, take up a producer's role, an associate producer's role, a writing role, something. Have some influence on the franchise so it doesn't go off the rails again like it did with Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, imagine if, oh my goodness, do you remember Die Another Day when he was...
Now, Timothy, if you're watching, you're a great actor. I just felt as though the writers and the directors didn't do you justice.
Remember Die Another Day 2002 and he was like kite surfing on a tidal wave? That was written.
If you really want to watch a bad James Bond scene, Roger Moore in
License to Kill?
No, it was the one that Duran Duran did the soundtrack for it. He's snowboarding on a blown up snowmobile ski to a Beach Boys song down the side of a mountain. It was awful. Just awful. A View to a Kill is the name.
Oh, yeah, A View to a Kill.
In fact, after this feed, YouTube it. I'm sure you can find it. It's the worst 30 seconds in movie history. Maybe not the worst 30 seconds.
Maybe not the worst. I mean, we got... there's other movies, of course. And of course... Okay, we got some comments here.
Yeah.
Die Hard. Again, obviously I haven't seen Die Hard.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Die Hard is like one of the best action movies?
Yeah. And it was one of those first action films that, is it a holiday film? Is it an action film?
It's a Christmas movie.
It was absolutely.
Forget it. It's a Christmas movie.
It's a holiday film, not a Christmas movie. Christmas is about celebrating some other stuff. Right?
Yes. It's not about celebrating, throwing people off buildings. And,
But the great thing about Die Hard was that's where you saw our action heroes start to look a little bit more human.
Yeah.
His family was going through a divorce. He was out there trying to salvage his marriage and reestablish a relationship with his family. And then he gets dropped in front of a terrorism plot,
and that's why you care.
Right.
It's like, that's why I feel like a lot of people don't get that. Like with a lot of action movies, the reason some of the stuff is so thrilling, there was a Speed 2. I didn't know there was a Speed 2.
Right.
Did you know that there was a Speed 2? I do want to ask, I know some of you guys may not have the same rules with your channel, but with this channel, I will get to your comment, but please try your best to keep, profanity or anything out of here, because you never know who's going to come into this. I mean, nothing to you, man. You do you, but I will get to your comment.
Oh, by the way, don't forget to like.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Please comment. Copy and paste to your Instagram or wherever. We love having you guys participate. It's awesome being able to talk and communicate with you guys. We really enjoy it.
Oh, hi, Mark. Oh, he just referenced The Room. Do you know of The Room? Tommy Wiseau?
I don't. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, Tommy Wiseau is one of the most mysterious men in Hollywood ever, and The Room is considered the worst movie ever made.
Okay.
And it came out in 2003. Tommy Wiseau.
I love it. Great comment. Thank you. I'm learning something. This is good.
Here's the thing. It was so bad. And it's still, to this day.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's still, to this day, played all the time around the world. It was popularized. There's this thing called Adult Swim. I don't know if you know what that is.
I've heard of it.
It was played, and that's how it really got popularized. And now there's screenings for it all over the world, all the time. And people bring spoons to the screening because there's just random spoons all throughout the movie. Like it's kind of like Game of Thrones where there's like Starbucks cups. Obviously, I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Right.
He's a good dad, trust me. But basically, and people bring spoons to the screenings to throw. My bad. No, it's fine. It's fine, man. I mean, I know a lot of people don't have the same rules.
Yeah, you're good.
It's fine. I get what you were saying.
There will be no judgments here.
No judgments. We do not judge.
We do not.
We are a judge-free family here. But basically, people bring spoons and then throw them at the screen whenever there's like a spoon in the background.
Yeah.
Now, The Room isn't an action movie. I do kind of want to get back on track here because I mean it is cool conversing with you guys. Let's see. I totally forgot about the Indiana Jones movies. What is your guys' favorite? What is your favorite?
Oh, man. Oh, that's so hard, bro. That's so hard.
Spielberg.
My favorite is the original. Raiders.
Raiders.
You know, it's just, you learn who the characters are, what drives them, what their motivations are. You throw in a little bit of actual history, a little bit of actual theology.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, when you can make a plot that plausible, for me, that's really when I sink my teeth into it. You know, I think that's what made Jurassic Park so great.
Goodness, yeah.
That's what makes The Abyss so
Oh
fantastic.
my goodness. I have like a 20-minute video of The Abyss on my channel of me just praising it.
You should go check that out. If you haven't seen The Abyss, you should definitely go check it out. One of the James Cameron's most underrated films.
Yeah, no one talks about it anymore.
Right.
Like no one oh my god, I love The Abyss.
The other side of that one was Last Crusade.
Oh my goodness.
Because again, you have the same thing. What's driving the characters? We find out more about Indiana. You know, you have that little flirtation between the female archaeologist.
What was her name?
On.
It was Elsa. Her name was not Disney. We're talking about Elsa from Crusade.
And there was more comedy in that one that kept you engaged. So
yeah,
it's a hard one, but I'm going to go with the original Raiders. How about yours, man? What was yours?
Yeah. What was your favorite? For me, I'm actually going to go with Last Crusade. I like the dynamic between Indiana and his father, and that amazing scene. Yeah, if you want to keep up with the comments, you can.
Yeah. And
then that amazingly hilarious scene in Crusade where it's like, Dad, what? Dad, what? Dad,
that was great. They were back. They were back to back.
It was like this.
Yeah.
Dad, what? Dad,
Dad. It was awesome.
It was like the best thing of all time.
And the building's on fire.
Yeah, and
it's like really important that they communicate with one another.
Oh my goodness, it was so awesome.
It was a blast.
It was the best thing ever.
All right, what we got?
I haven't watched Indiana Jones. Whoa, he hasn't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just don't watch them out of order.
And next time it rains, first go outside and play. Go outside and play.
Yeah.
But yeah, next time you're looking for a movie to watch, man, go check out the Raiders. I think they're all available on Netflix, right?
They are, yeah. Don't watch. Well, it's all subjective. Watch Kingdom if you want to. There's well-directed scenes, but overall, it was a disappointment.
Have you seen Collateral?
Oh my goodness!
Don't you love Collateral?
Collateral is my favorite Tom Cruise movie of all time. I know you may disagree.
No, I like the movie. It's a good movie, but it's not favorite. Hello, Danger Zone. I mean, Danger Zone. Danger Zone!
I mean, here's the thing. I like Tom Cruise as an actor.
I'm ridiculously excited for Top Gun 2.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Here's the thing. I love Tom Cruise as
those of you that don't know, I'm a pilot. So Top Gun is like wicked.
You relate to it like hardcore. With me, I love Tom Cruise as an actor and I love a lot of his performances, but this movie was like, it was the first Tom Cruise movie that I saw where I actually didn't quite see Tom Cruise. Like the way he inhabited this character, and just unfortunately, I can't save a lot of his dialogue because he's a very foul-mouthed person. But the way he inhabited that character, and plus he gets to play a villain, and I think Tom Cruise is actually great as a villain. Mm-hmm. Maybe Interview with a Vampire would be the other movie where he came close, but like he doesn't really play a villain. Yeah, you know, he's either Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible.
You know, people don't talk a lot about Jamie Foxx in that movie either. Jamie Foxx.
He was nominated.
Right.
Yeah.
He was nominated. His character makes an entire arc in that he starts off as a meek, kind of, weak character.
Not so confident.
Ends up having to do the right thing at the end.
Oh my goodness,
and kind of saving the day.
Kind of. And if you haven't seen Collateral, I'm not going to spoil it, but very, very mild spoiler.
Oh man. Mr. Movie loves Inception and The Matrix. So,
of course,
it's interesting because I've never actually connected the two of those films.
They are very similar.
Very imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both take place mostly in the imagination.
In an alternate. Well, not an alternate, but like a...
Right. But Inception...
A false reality.
Ironically enough, Inception is way more complex.
It's true,
than Matrix, which is probably why The Matrix was more palatable for a larger audience than Inception was, because a lot of people didn't get Inception.
And plus, Keanu Reeves also did Speed a few years before. So people go into The Matrix, they see Sorry, I keep on forgetting people's names. They see Keanu Reeves and it's like, oh, he was in that awesome movie called Speed. And they see him wearing this like incredibly epic leather jacket, doing the bullet time thing. That's what's it called. Bends back and dodges the bullets. And
so incidentally, if you have the DVD or the Blu-ray, watch the additional or the extra features on that, because it talks about how they developed the arcing camera technique, where they could take multiple photos from multiple angles at once and then splice them together to do the freeze frame shot for the fight scenes in Matrix. Very interesting.
It was great how they did it.
Hard to believe that happened 23 years ago now?
No, Matrix was 99, so that would be 21.
21 years ago? Yeah, 21 years ago. 99. This guy.
Oh, I'm great with release dates, man. Okay, yeah, I do want to get to... He says Mission Impossible Fallout was his favorite Tom Cruise movie. Great film. He did a lot of great stunts, including actually skydiving. War for the Planet of the Apes is one of the best action films, too. The other films in this series aren't bad either.
I agree.
Yeah, the rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy, I really like it.
Yeah.
Like, I really like... And the CGI in those films...
Yep.
It's so good.
It's really well done. Who's the King of the Apes?
Caesar?
Caesar, yeah. His character is so like empathetic.
Yeah,
how the way that the director and the writers can manipulate that character and make every human being in the theater empathize with the guy who's fighting the humans is really cool.
I do like the idea of an empathetic villain. I mean, we were just talking about Lashif in Casino Royale.
Yeah.
He is at the end of his rope financially. Like, he absolutely requires money. So you can understand why this guy is trying to get his... It's like a justification for the trope I was talking about before about some random evil guy who really wants money.
Yeah.
Lashif, he is an evil guy who really wants money, but you understand why. And honestly... Not to knock the human race here, but I feel like a lot of people in the real world, if they were put into his situation, they would probably strive to get money too.
I agree.
And they'd probably break laws to do it.
Well, some people.
Me.
Let's see here.
All right, yeah, I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
I've heard the theory that Tenet... Oh, you've heard of Tenet, right? It's a new Christopher Nolan film that's coming out this year. There's a theory... that it's connected with Inception in some way, because it does deal with time manipulation.
I would be so stoked to see it.
He hasn't come out and said anything, but the you watch the trailer for Tenet and the styles are very similar. I think that could be
Split, right?
Yes, but speaking of which, if you don't know the twist and Split, come on, man, if you've been living under a rock, that's kind of like not knowing what COVID-19 is.
We don't have to give you the full split.
Yeah,
on Split. However, they are M. Night Shyamalan films, and they do fall into place universe. In some of the other movies that
you haven't seen Glass yet.
I haven't.
It's awesome. A lot of people don't like it. I loved it.
I'm an outdoors guy. I like to fish. I like to run.
But yeah, the theory of Tenet and Inception being connected, I think, is really, really awesome. I think it would be like, because Split, no one expected that, and then at the end, you're like, oh my goodness, it's connected to a movie that we're not going to divulge at this time, just in case you don't know.
Have I seen Dark Fate? I don't think
you haven't seen Dark Fate. Terminator Dark Fate, I really liked. It was the best action movie of 2019.
So let me just tell you, I love horror movies, man. I'm a huge horror movie fan. I started watching it, and I can't do kids.
The new one?
I can't do kids in pain.
Oh.
That's the one thing that I cannot do.
Are you talking about the 1990 miniseries or the 2017 reboot?
The 2017 reboot that was critically acclaimed and that everybody loves. I can't watch it because if the story deals with children being hurt, I don't enjoy it. So I just don't do it.
Stranger Things is good.
But I'm glad that you enjoyed it, man. And I know a lot of other people did. And it's interesting when you can capture a villain like that.
Yeah.
That everybody can just rail against, but still kind of enjoy his villainy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Joker, you know? Like, you watch Joker, and you're rooting for Arthur Fleck to not snap, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you don't want to see the Joker, doing his thing. It's like, you don't side with a murderer, but at the same time, there's the reason the best parts in The Dark Knight were with the Joker. Like, that interrogation scene, my personal favorite scene, it's kind of like, it's almost like, at first you empathize with Arthur and Joker, because you understand just how terrible his life is, they're cutting funding, but then as the film progresses, you slowly start to empathize with him less because you see where he's going.
The interesting thing about Joker that a lot of people don't talk about is the real villain in Joker
is
the city.
It's society. Yeah, we
It's
live
the
in a
city.
society.
Yeah,
We do.
and you know, I love it when directors will hold up a mirror. It's like one of those two-way mirrors that you can see through.
I know where you're going with this.
Most of us, we choose to see through the mirror.
Yeah.
And look at everybody else. But every once in a while, you can kind of turn the mirror around and say, hey, wait a minute, let's take a look at what we're doing.
Yeah, look at yourself.
Yeah.
And there was actually, it was
a really clever trick.
I don't know if you've heard of this film. This film came out very early 2020. It was one of the films that had to go to VOD because of COVID-19. It's called The Hunt. I don't know if you've heard of
this movie.
Now this is a very controversial movie.
Why
controversial.
Are we doing this?
Here's the thing.
That's not the right use of these.
Maybe not.
That's not maybe. That's not at all the right use of
Okay,
these.
whatever. But basically, it's because The Hunt was a satire, and it turns the lens back on humans and asks them to look at themselves. And then I loved the way I loved.
What was going on there? Sorry, I see your comment there.
Oh yeah, you weren't talking about it.
I'm with you now. I'm tracking.
Yeah. So
old eyes.
Yeah. Mine too, believe it or not. I was
kind of
yeah.
My eyes are kind of better than his.
Anyway, we're gonna. This is fun. I'm glad you agreed.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, man. I'm glad you guys are participating too. It makes it so much better when we go back and forth.
Yeah, and it's great to have
Tell your friends, like get on your.
Yeah, seriously, spread this, man. This is cool.
You young whippersnappers, get on those phones. And test it out, Yeah, like, share, subscribe, man.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, definitely get it out there. What were we talking about? What are we doing right now?
Well, we're talking about action films. You were going to tell me about The Hunt.
The Hunt, yes. The way the marketers took full advantage. Like literally the poster, they didn't take good reviews. They put the bad reviews all over the poster. There was quotes saying this is a disturbance to our country. This film glorifies violence. This film supports serial killers. This film should be banned from all U.S. territories. And I honestly love that they did that.
Hey, no, you know what? Can I interrupt?
Yes, you can, very much. No, you may not. Anyway, yes, please, Ender.
I'm going to go sit in the corner.
Yeah. Okay, yes, please.
So really quick, I would love to hear about some action movies that everybody loved that you guys didn't really care for.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a great, because I kind of have a couple of
I have one that you may not necessarily agree with. Avatar. Avatar is a great visual experience.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching Avatar. It's very rewatchable because it's very entertaining, and again, James Cameron he doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah.
He's never made a horrible movie, Like there's some movies of his that are, for some people, but like overall he's a pretty acclaimed director. I never really cared about the protagonist of Avatar. Like the action sequences were thrilling not because I cared about the main character, but because of how well filmed they were.
Right.
Now, when a movie combines action sequences where they're thrilling, not only because they're well filmed, but also because I care about the character, and that adds an extra, dude, you need to get out of this, so it puts you on edge.
Right.
Like John Wick, you care about him because of what happened with his wife and everything, but it's also extremely well filmed. The nightclub scene in John Wick, it's like a 10-minute sequence of him just railing,
Right.
So it is some of the best filmed action I've ever seen.
It is really good action film. So, and I have one problem with John Wick films.
Go ahead.
They go a little too far, a little too often.
I haven't seen Wick 2 or Wick 3.
Okay.
I have heard that there's a scene in Wick 3 that involves a knife and an eye.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. It goes from being a really good action sequence to almost being a little bit comical.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know that was the director's intent. Hey, if it was, good on you. You made me laugh.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, sorry.
I mean, there are some movies where there is a lot of.
Mr. Movie didn't really care for Gravity. You know what?
Ooh.
That's awesome. I love that comment because Gravity was more about the atmosphere than it was the action. Mm-hmm. So if you went in looking for an action film, what you got was an atmospheric experience. So I can totally understand where that comes from.
And I like Gravity.
low for an action film, right?
Yeah, I like Gravity, but I don't know how you stand on Gravity.
Yeah.
But I do have an interesting fact about Gravity. I'm just gonna say it very briefly here. They didn't use green screens in that movie. They actually put the actors in rooms with giant screens of space shots that were actually in space, like actual footage of space. So that's not, when you watch Gravity, that's not CGI planets you're seeing. That's actually real planets that they projected onto screens, and then they put the actors in front of the screens.
Another interesting fact about Gravity, George Clooney wasn't the original choice for that role. It was actually supposed to go to Robert Downey Jr.
Which I think that would have been really cool.
Well, they cast him in the role. They actually filmed half the movie with him in the role, decided that he was too charismatic and too likable. They wanted somebody more professional and more scientific. So
because maybe and then looking back, I guess his charisma doesn't really match, I think, the tone they were going for with Gravity. Gravity was a fairly somber movie, actually. Not necessarily sad, but it was kind of low key.
You know what was interesting was, what I loved about Gravity was the evolution of the character. It was almost like a birth sequence at the end of the film. And spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, when she is seen coming out of the water back onto dry land and back on Earth, she is just as isolated as she was in space. So she's in a very similar predicament.
Yeah.
But now she's surrounded by a completely different life-giving environment. It was an interesting kind of play.
And on the topic of science fiction action movies, not going back to Star Wars.
Nope. What do we got here?
Do you remember the film Arrival? Not an action movie.
I do remember Arrival.
But the man.
But you want to talk about a smart film?
But dude, you can't talk about why you love Arrival without spoiling it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those films like Split. I'm okay with spoiling that. Collateral, I was okay with spoiling that a little bit. I don't want to spoil Arrival for anyone.
No.
Because it is so unexpected. In fact, now Denis Villeneuve, a lot of people can't pronounce his name, he directed Arrival. He is directing a remake of Dune, of the original Dune film, and it's going to be a much more sci-fi action-oriented thing. Now, think about the way Arrival was directed. Imagine that direction in an action film.
Okay.
You know, like the wide takes, the cinematography.
I have to see it.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, he can imagine it. He's that imaginative guy. You should see some of the stuff he directs. If he ever decides to post like his actual films, it'd be awesome. You guys would love it.
It'd be cool. Maybe I could tone down
Let's see here. This isn't movie related, but Daredevil every season has a one-take fight scene.
The final season, one take. I
love that stuff.
Man. I watched the first season of Daredevil, and I really liked it. For some reason, I just didn't go back and watch it. But yes, the action in Daredevil is some of the best television action I've ever seen. This might be a little edgy, but I didn't like Empire Strikes Back as much as everyone else. I think it isn't as good as the other films in the original trilogy. I even liked Rogue One more.
First of all, I like Rogue One more too, man. Yeah. So that's good on you, good taste.
I think the action in Rogue One is better, actually.
Yeah. I think the reason why a lot of people consider Empire a better film is
Darth Vader.
Actually, I think it's the story between Leia and Han.
Yeah, it is. There's good chemistry.
Really love that.
Oh,
and the reveal between Luke and Darth at the end. But I agree. I always thought, hey, Empire's good. Yeah. But I actually liked A New Hope a little bit better.
Yeah, A New Hope, because A New Hope benefited from being like the introduction to this world, and you had so many things thrown at you. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. Empire, you know the world.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Empire, you know the world.
Yes.
And then they introduced Darth Vader, who is awesome.
Right.
Now, again, I'm not like downgrading Empire. It's a great movie. But it does kind of lose some stuff when you rewatch it. There's parts that do drag for me a little bit.
Man, you know what I would love to see?
What?
No, we're not going there.
No, come on, you gotta say it now.
Well, we're not going back into the Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true. We could probably do a whole nother episode on Star Wars, to be honest.
I'd like to see a Darth Vader exploration film.
Oh, yeah, I was actually pitching that the other day.
Let's see, The Martian. Oh,
that was with Ridley Scott directed The Martian, who also did the original Alien.
That is an isolation, claustrophobic character study.
Matt Damon was.
I mean, that is an amazing film. If you haven't seen The Martian, you should go check it out.
Yeah,
good comment, man.
Yeah,
but why couldn't Ridley Scott save the Alien franchise?
What? Alien Covenant wasn't horrible. Ridley Scott directed, and a lot of people hated Prometheus. I liked Prometheus.
So Prometheus could have been so much better.
It could have been. The scientist characters were
well, and they, some stuff wound up on the editing room floor of that movie that probably really belonged in there. And I think, the problem with the Alien films is that the producers of those films continually underestimate the audience for those films.
They don't trust them enough.
They think they either want to see an alien slash and grab, or they want some, deep
character
twisted
movie
background. No, man, get James Cameron back on it.
Honestly, look at the first two Alien films. You don't need, because Alien and Aliens are so good. And
I put Rogue over Empire too. Just final thought on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, the Alien film.
You look at the first two Alien films. The original Alien is not as action-oriented as Aliens. But they were so simple, and that's why they worked. And that's why a lot of action movies with simple premises are some of the best action movies.
Yeah.
It's like Die Hard, terrorists in a building, John McClane, there.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need. And the original Alien, let's just have a crew of people on a ship trapped with an alien. There. You don't need any of the lore. Now, yes, the lore is cool when you read into it, but you don't need all of that. Yeah. Aliens, it's like, okay, in the first film, there was only one.
Best of the franchise. Sorry.
Yeah.
Aliens, I agree with you guys there on Aliens.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Aliens. In the first film, it was just one xenomorph, and you saw how much it did. And Aliens, they were like, okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a crew of people, put them on a ship, but there's going to be multiple aliens, and we're going to make this an action movie.
Yeah.
And then from start to finish, it's like, because I love Alien. Like, I love the suspense of it. Yeah. But what James Cameron did with Aliens, the decision to make that an action film was amazing. I mean, I guess bullets don't really do much because they still have acidic blood. So, everyone's kind of doomed anyway.
And the other side of that too, the first Aliens films, the first two Aliens films, Sigourney Weaver gave amazing performances.
She was nominated for Best Actress in Aliens.
Yeah.
Now let that sink in. That is a giant popcorn 1980s action movie with blood and guts and
oh, by the way, Sigourney Weaver is good in everything she does.
She is.
I mean,
even Alien 3.
Alien 3 was, for my money, was a terrible film.
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as you do.
I love the Alien franchise so much that when Alien 3 came to the theaters, I went and saw it, and I left that movie wanting my money back.
Yeah.
It continued to be tops at the box office for 2 weekends.
I mean, obviously, because it's
an
Alien
movie. So I went back
movie.
and saw it again.
Yeah.
I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
So I went back and saw it again, and I'm like, nope. Yeah. That movie is still bad. But if you do see it, Sigourney Weaver does her best to save the movie. It was not savable.
She actually had some demands with Alien 3. What?
Nostalgic said he fell asleep.
I fell asleep on all the sequels after Aliens.
I completely understand why.
Yeah.
They're not worth watching. I am not endorsing those films whatsoever. There's way better movies.
I hated how they ruined Aliens by making Alien 3 kill Newt. Yeah, that's one of the things that I still don't get about Alien 3, because I don't hate it as much as you do. I don't like it. It's a bad movie, but I don't hate it as much as you do. Here's the thing, because with the way they set up... Shush. The way they set up Aliens, they set up, it was Bishop, Newt, and Ripley. And it was kind of like this, like, cool little, cozy, like, ragtag family, sort of.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, yeah, I love these characters. And then Alien 3's coming out, you're like, yeah, we're going to see what else they're dead.
And that's the thing, whenever you take a solid franchise like that has characters that everybody really cares about, because one of the things James Cameron is really good at is developing characters so that you care about them, or at least understand them. I mean, T2, you cared about a robot assassin. What?
Let's talk about I don't want to.
Well, let me just finish my thought real quick on that. So, Aliens, he gets Hudson. You care about Hudson. You care about Newt. You care about the android, and then the first thing they do is kill him.
Yeah.
Them. So you show up to this movie expecting a continuation of the story, and what you actually get was a reboot.
Yeah.
Nobody was ready for that. Nobody wanted that. And this wasn't like a played out franchise like Star Trek, where the audience kind of wanted a reboot. This was something that the audience was still hungry for continuing the story.
Yeah, and they were. And then the choice to just not do it, it's like, why? You know, like I wish they would have gotten the same crew from.
I like that. T2 is very good. I don't know if I'm willing to say it's the best action movie of all time, but
I know a lot of people who say that T2 is Edward Furlong in T2. You know, he actually had to audio dub a lot of his lines because when he was in the movie, his voice was changing way too much. So there are times where it's like you can tell that it's a voiceover, and it doesn't always match up. That's just a little thing I'm throwing out there.
I think Aliens, the sequel to Alien.
Yeah,
I think
Aliens.
for my money, that's the best
action movie of all time. Yeah, I mean,
I just do.
For me, there's a lot of action movies that I still need to see. Obviously, the classics. In a few years, Die Hard, T2, even the first Terminator, which a lot of people don't talk about.
I agree, nostalgic. You want to save your franchise, man? Get James Cameron on board. He'll make this.
Yeah, James Cameron makes the best second movies of any franchise. Yeah, I mean seriously. Any franchise. He's directed.
You know who else is really good at that though? Ron Howard.
Yes.
Ron Howard is very good at that.
Now he directed Solo.
He did,
and a lot of people didn't like Solo.
He saved Solo.
Yes.
According to all the reports coming out of Hollywood, Solo was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And they hired Ron Howard to come in and help us because, first of all, it's a power cast.
Yeah.
They got a great cast on that movie. Had a great budget. You had every asset that Disney had. And I actually, personally, I loved the movie. I thought it was a great movie. But the audience was burned out.
Yeah.
The audience we'd gone through Rogue One. We'd gone through the second round of sequels at that point in time. And there was just no appetite for Solo, especially with all the media coming out about all the turmoil that happened in post-production.
I think it also has to do with the fact, like, Solo came out after Force Awakens. And, of course, spoilers for Force Awakens, Han Solo dies in Force Awakens. So then you're watching Solo and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, but I know where it leads. And it's just kind of like...
Mr. Movie's got a comic book list.
Oh, really? An underrated film is Batman v Superman. I loved the action in that film.
I agree.
It was also explained more in the Ultimate Edition. If you have seen that, I haven't seen the Ultimate Edition. The theatrical cut of Batman v Superman, I didn't think it was as bad as people were saying. I don't think it was a great movie by any means, but it was enjoyable.
It's one of the best moments I think in hero anti-hero cinematic history was when Batman nuzzles up to Superman and whispers, "Do you bleed?"
Oh my goodness!
I mean, that was
awesome.
Dark.
Yeah,
it's like, and a lot of other people who they're not fans of the book series, they kind of lose sight of the Dark Knight character arc.
Yeah,
but there was in the comic book series a larger, bulkier, older Batman. That I think that particular portrayal, a lot of people hated that version of Batman, but I really think it was well done, guys.
I think Ben Affleck.
It's a little edgy, but I really think Ben Affleck's Batman was very well done. People rejected it because it wasn't the version they wanted. But along that character arc, man, he nailed it.
I mean, and let's talk about Ben Affleck for his physicality as Batman he was a great on-screen Batman, like. Visually, Nolan
there's nostalgic. Solo should have been a Disney Plus movie.
A Disney Plus show instead of a movie. That would have been cool, like a show exploring Disney.
Finish your thought on Ben Affleck's Batman. I want to hear what you guys say.
A lot of people they didn't enjoy, like, because in Batman v Superman, Batman does kill people.
Yeah. Like,
people. And it's one of...
Batman was never a hero. He was always an anti-hero.
It's just, and a lot of people were aggravated.
Made him a hero.
Yeah, a lot of people were aggravated because they were like, but isn't like Batman's number one rule not to kill people? That was his number one rule in the Nolan films. In the Nolan film, because you got that great scene in Batman Begins where he's holding Ra's al Ghul. He's like, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Right.
And he leaves him there, and he doesn't kill him with his hands, but metaphorically, Ra's al Ghul's blood is still on his hands because he left him there to die.
Sure.
And rightfully so. Ra's al Ghul was a terrible man.
Was he though? Because he created Batman.
He did create Batman.
See, and that's the thing that's what makes Batman so tasty.
Yeah.
Is that, what's your superpower? I'm rich. That's it. I'm a hardworking, rich vigilante who thinks I can do the government's job better than the government.
Yeah.
and
my
he
goodness.
just happens to.
I'm not gonna lie. My favorite Batman films are the Nolan films. I love Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises was good. Oh, we got another comment. Oh, movie list. Hey man, what's up? It's his number one rule in comics too. Oh, okay. And if we're talking action movies, then John Wick Trilogy is the absolute best. In regards to action.
What's up, movie list?
Yeah, what's up? He was actually on a previous stream.
Yeah, I remember we chatted. Yeah.
Basically, what was I gonna say? Yes, in regards to action, John Wick, throw out characters and story. In regards to just how, like, the action sequences in general. The action sequences, at least for me personally, I know you said it gets a little excessive in the later films, but I haven't seen them. I heard there was a scene.
I think it's excessive in all of them.
Yeah.
Not that it's not well done.
Yeah.
It's just they're
the first one is definitely the least.
The scene always seems to build to a point where you're like, all right, I'm ready for the action to fall and then the story to pick back up. And then they always carry it for about an extra 30 seconds to a minute. Which, I mean, that's the John Wick character. If you're familiar with comics at all, that is the character. He's a black hole of vengeance, man. That's what he does.
And they in the movie they call him Baba Yaga, you know, like the boogeyman. And there's that great line where Vigo is like, John is not the boogeyman, he's the man you sent to kill the boogeyman. And it's like, okay. I love the world building of the first John Wick film. And we're actually getting an HBO television series about the hotel in the John Wick films called the Continental, which is where all these assassins stay undercover. I'm excited for that.
Well, and that's what Artemis tried to do, kind of. They tried to say, oh, man, that's a really great story. Let's go ahead and pull that out and turn it into something different. And, you know, we'll grab a great cast with John Bautista and Jodie Foster, and I'll bet people are going to love it.
Yeah. Nope.
And didn't kind of work out. I mean,
it wasn't the
other
worst.
great characters, and it had another great cast, but it just wasn't well received by audiences. If you guys have seen that movie, tell me what you did or didn't like about Artemis.
Keanu Reeves did training for the gun scene. Yes, there is some great behind the scenes footage.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves training for the John Wick films. They call it. Actually, that's what it's called.
Really?
Now. Yeah. He is a.
I want to create a martial art. Man.
He's a master of gun fu now. Like, seriously, he said, like, if you put him into a war zone, he wouldn't be the first man down. He actually said that. Because, like, there's the thing.
I disagree.
Here's the thing. He knows how to use so many different guns because him to a shooting range.
Right.
And made sure he trained for months. And I really respect actors who devote that much time, who do their own stunts. Like Tom Cruise, say what you want about him as a person. As an actor, he's very devoted to his work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rogue Nation and Fallout were also incredible. Yes. Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, and Fallout were both amazing. I own all of them back there.
What was the second Mission Impossible?
It was just called Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2. Okay.
John Woo.
Thanks for that.
Yes.
Directed by John Woo. All right. Don't judge John Woo's work on that movie.
The action is extremely entertaining.
It is.
It's
super action.
There's a stunt.
That's what we called it back in the day, like when I used to work at Blockbuster, because I used to work at Blockbuster.
You're so old.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Very old. Yeah, we actually had a super action section in the store. So if you were not interested in action films but wanted something that was a little bit more over the top, that was where you could go and find what now we would have films like John Wick. That's where you would go and find like Mission Impossible 2 and the other John Woo films like
what else did he
Hard Boiled was another John Woo film, and that was actually produced and filmed in Hong Kong, one of his earlier films. So you can probably find scenes from that via this media. So by all means, man, check it out.
Mission Impossible 2 was so bad I like it. Yeah, I mean, Mission Impossible 2.
You know my favorite scene in that film?
What?
You can actually see it in the trailer. It's the two motorcycles.
Oh yeah, and they collide, and they like jump off, and
they
hit
jump
each
off
other
and hit each other in
midair. Oh my goodness!
It's like, oh, they'd both be so dead,
but it
then
looks
they still
so
can fight each
awesome.
other. It's like, oh wow, that's crazy.
You want to talk about cheesy action movies? Let's talk about Con Air for a second. Now it ain't my ties and Yahtzee out here, but let's do it. You know.
You know what's crazy, man?
Now it's your
That
barbecue
movie-
and it tastes mighty fine.
That movie
my
was
goodness.
so popular with so many people in the 90s. It was crazy. It was like, oh, Nick Cage is so awesome.
He's the only one who could get away with some of those lines, honestly. Nick Cage is so
What
great.
is up with Nick Cage, by the way? Why is he so good in some things and so not good in other things? Nick, I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
And you've got some of the coolest friends on the planet. I love watching your other stuff on social media that you do. But man, be a little bit more selective with those scripts, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's done
Just a
some
little bit.
He's done some weird movies. He did this like horror psychological thriller movie called Mandy.
Okay.
And a lot of people really liked it. It's not an action film.
Right.
It is a horror film. For the first half of the movie, it's a character study. It's like a psychological thriller. And then the second half, it is like berserk. Just him killing Rampage. And apparently people liked it because it was a very stylistic thing. That's hilarious. And then he takes time to wear shades in the middle of the gunfight. Yeah, he actually puts on the shades in the middle of a gunfight.
Ooh, there's a good question. The most awesome sunglasses scene in an action film, it's got to be from the original Terminator.
I haven't seen it.
After he takes the biker's leather jacket, the Terminator, like young Arnold Schwarzenegger, walks out of the bar, reaches into the pocket, pulls out some glasses, opens them up, and throws them on because his eye was exposed during the fight. It was like, wow.
You just made that
cool.
You just made that movie sound great.
Terminator is a great film.
Yeah. A lot of people think T2 is better.
Watch the edited version. There's some gratuitous stuff in there that kind of takes away from the film itself.
It will definitely be my first viewing.
Yeah, but by all means, it is really good James Cameron storytelling for sure.
The Matrix, by far, this isn't action, but the Blues Brothers one is pretty solid. The Blues Brothers.
Oh, absolutely! I love that when he picks his brother up.
The sunglasses.
His brother up from prison.
Yeah.
He's like, it's what was it, 300 miles? We have 300 miles to go. A full tank of gas. Half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Yes.
Hit it.
I can't think of my favorite sunglasses. I mean, The Matrix has some great sunglasses stuff. Tom Cruise will be in a movie in space.
Okay, go ahead. You go ahead.
There is a rumor that the next Mission Impossible film is going to have a scene in space. Now, I think that could be awesome, and it's also rumored that it is going to be the first movie that is actually filmed, like portions of it actually in space.
Right.
Like actors in space.
Okay.
Real space.
I mean, why not? Right?
I mean, you've already filmed in every other dangerous location. Why not space?
Great. Blues Brothers actually does have some action in it. If you remember, there's an RPG that gets fired. John Belushi is down on his knees trying to explain why he stood up his girlfriend at their wedding, and she fires off an RPG. And there's also an air assault team that assaults down into, man, I think it was an orphanage. No, it was the IRS building while the Blues Brothers are actually trying to pay the taxes for an orphanage.
I haven't seen Blues Brothers, but this movie
and the car chase. The car chase inside the shopping mall is hilarious. It's absolutely epic. Oh, what a great movie. I had to go back and watch that movie. I completely forgot about it.
You know what? I think you got this covered, Dad. You can...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I haven't been trying to talk. You make Blues Brothers sound very good. Am I?
Don't watch the sequel, though. The sequel is terrible.
Yeah. Same as Speed 2. I don't know if you know, but there is a sequel to Speed 2.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. I haven't seen Blues Brothers. Watch Blues Brothers?
Yeah. There's a TV edit.
Okay.
For sure.
So, let's see. We got Total Recall 1990 was amazing, but extremely gory. Have you seen Total Recall? Or Total Recall?
I have seen Total Recall. Some really weird stuff in that film. The reboot was the reboot starred Kate Beckinsale. Oh, and was it Colin Farrell? I think
it was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I just know casts of stuff.
The
Kate Beckinsale. She's
the idea of. Yeah, Kate Beckinsale is really good in just about everything that she does.
Yeah.
Again, she's one of those actresses who can kind of carry some bad films. The underworld stuff hasn't always been the greatest.
She carries those movies, though.
She does a good job with it. But there's a TV series called The Expanse that It's not great, but I think it does a better job of the whole Mars versus Earth thing than the Total Recall stuff did.
Yeah, you guys have talked
Me personally,
about
if I was making a recommendation, I would tell people not to waste their time with Total Recall stuff.
All right, let's see. Colin Farrell in the reboot was not good. Colin Farrell isn't the best actor. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Speed 2, not starring Keanu Reeves. Yeah, Keanu Reeves script for Speed 2. He was actually on board. He was like, yeah, I'll do Speed 2. And then he read the script and then he was like, no. Roger Ebert gave that film 4 out of 4 stars, by the way.
Hey, nostalgic. Commando starring Arnold.
Oh my goodness.
Get to the chopper!
Except that's Predator.
He says it in like 3 different films.
Oh, yeah, he does say the same line.
In Predator, he says it in Commando, and he says it in... I'm drawing a blank. But I know he says it in Commando, too.
He says it in another film, Commando. Commando is actually one of those films that I have seen. As much as I love Nolan's Batman, its action was... Yeah, here's the thing.
I love it, man. You guys are having your own disagreements there. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what makes this fun. Like, the disagreements and having a debate. We don't want to be hateful, because there's too much of that on the internet.
This is all about, talking and debating the art that we love.
Yeah, it constantly baffles me, like, how many people just can't live with a person who has a different opinion.
Yeah.
It's like, this random person on the internet who I've never met, who I only see through an online video, has a different opinion on a movie than me. I hate this person. It's like, what? I don't get that.
Yeah.
Animated series, one of the best Batman. Oh yeah, the Batman. Have you seen the original Batman animated series from the 90s?
I have not.
Mark Hamill voiced the Joker in that series.
So truth be told, I don't watch a lot of animated series because I grew up in an era where Saturday morning cartoons were a thing. Like, I watched the original like Transformers series and stuff like that. And when I watch an animated series, I can't get out of that mode.
Yeah.
So I don't watch a lot of animated film. It's something I watch animated film. I don't watch a lot of animated series. So it's something that I actually have to get out of. And because of your comments there, I'm going to give it another shot. So thanks for bringing that to me. Seriously.
Yeah. Predator is a little overrated, I think. The original Predator film, I mean, I just think it's awesome, though. Like, you don't go and watch Predator for great characters. You go and watch Predator for great action. The thing with the animated series is that it has a number of fantastic episodes. However, it also has some bland episodes as well that we don't like to remember due to nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, all TV shows are going to have, like, filler episodes. Episodes just to make the season a little bit longer.
Build a bridge to some character development stuff. I get
that. Stranger Things Season 2 actually had an episode about 11 and how she has, like, a sister. And it's, like, this complete side story. That is the only episode of Stranger Things that I will say is awful. Like, I hate that episode. I despise it. But I love Season 2, though. Speaking of which, apparently Season 4 is about to come out, and it's the last season. It's the final season.
Well, I mean, they're all doing other stuff right now.
Yeah.
The girl that plays 11 was
Millie Bobby Brown. She was in Godzilla. She was in King of the Monsters.
Yeah, she's in the Godzilla franchise now. Which, by the way, who else is excited out there for Kong versus Godzilla?
I'm
Godzilla
so excited.
versus Kong.
And let's be honest,
I'm so stoked for that movie.
Who cares about the characters? I just want to see a giant lizard and a giant ape.
And we talked a little bit at the beginning of the episode today about how action films can span just all kinds of different genre, and we haven't really touched on monster movies, which is actually one of my favorite genres of film. I'm a huge monster movie fan.
Kong Skull Island is underrated.
It's one of my favorite monster movies of all time, guys.
I've been
seriously a fan of the genre for a long time.
Kong Skull Island doesn't get enough credit. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the characters.
John Goodman was great in that film.
Oh, John Goodman's great in he was in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
He was in, I haven't seen this film. He was in The Big Lebowski, to my knowledge. Can Kong and Godzilla just fuse Dragon Ball style? Do you know what Dragon Ball is?
I do.
It's an anime series.
Unfortunately, I also know what Mecha Godzilla is, and we want to stay away from that.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't watch a lot of it. I don't watch a lot of anime. I do think the animation style is cool, but I have seen a little bit of Dragon Ball. I actually kind of like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
People make fun of people who like anime.
Yeah.
I
used to watch a lot of Voltron.
I mean, there's a lot. There's too many stereotypes now. There's some good anime series out there, especially on Netflix, actually. Netflix has, I haven't watched all of it, but Netflix has, like, Last Airbender, the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
There's an anime series called Naruto that a lot of people like. There's one out there called Beastars right now that I've actually kind of been thinking about getting into. And then there's, I don't want to get too far into this, but then, of course, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, so what you're saying there with fusing Dragon Ball style, it'd be cool. I mean, it wouldn't be cool. It'd be kind of bad. But, like, if they fuse to become this giant monster to fight, like, a bigger threat, that'd be kind of awesome.
So the last Godzilla I thought was really, really awesome. The first of the reboot Godzilla series, they spent a lot of time developing the whole theory of the Titans and where they may have come from and how they were coming back to life and why they'd be coming back to life. A lot of people didn't care for that film. They thought it moved too slow. They wanted more Godzilla. And, boy, they got more monsters.
Oh yeah,
sequel for sure. So I'm curious to see how the next Kong film goes, especially because they killed a lot of the strongest characters.
They did
during the course of that film.
Now I am gonna say I think it's time we get into the final discussion here.
Okay.
Because we should be ending in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
So final discussion.
Wow, that went fast, man. Boy, you guys have made this really awesome today. Thanks for all the great comments. This has been really cool.
How would you feel if Japan just came out saying they have Godzilla in 2020?
Like they've captured him? Is that what you mean?
Oh my goodness, that'd be so awesome. Like, imagine if they've, like, in real life, they've had, I mean, they have a lot of hidden stuff. When we talk action movies, we can bring up Infinity War, but not Endgame. Endgame wasn't an action movie until, like, the third act.
Hey, let me just hit you over the head with something.
Okay.
What about Ender's Game?
Oh my goodness, nobody talks about Ender's Game.
Nobody ever talks about
I really liked Ender's Game. What about you?
Because most people read the book, right?
The book was good.
What's that genre called?
It's YA, young adult.
There you go, YA novel. Right?
Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Twilight. Twilight is awful.
I've got a great story about Twilight. But anyway. But Ender's Game, I didn't read the book. So I was able to enjoy the movie, but apparently if you read the book or were a fan of the book at all, you absolutely hated the movie. I
mean, here's the thing. People always say that, and there's just certain things that work in novels that just don't translate well to movies. It's like, I mean, look at Jurassic Park, the book, for example. Great book, but some of the stuff in the book wouldn't have worked as well in a film, you know? Because film needs to have a certain pace. Books, people don't mind if books are a little longer to have like a much grander overarching thing. So for me, I love the Maze Runner films. Granted, the Maze Runner books are very different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not the first one. The first movie is very faithful to the first book. But the second and third books are almost nothing like the movies. They have the same plots, but I don't mind that because the new stuff they added in the movies, they did it extremely well. So I've never really understood the whole thing. It's not like the book, so it's bad. You know, there's just certain things that wouldn't work.
Lord of the Rings, definitely.
Harry Potter is my favorite, but Lord of the Rings are better films.
Definitely. I agree.
I mean, unpopular opinion here.
Well, you're kind of an unpopular kid, so.
Yeah, again, I
was too.
The apple, what's that saying?
Apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. No Johnny Appleseed here.
Hey, real quick. Endgame or Infinity War? Age of Ultron, actually. So.
Wait, what? For what? What's the
Avengers movie list? We can bring up Infinity War, but not Endgame. Age of Ultron. I like my villains to be a little charismatic, have a little sense of humor. I got no strings.
Honestly, the thing that my favorite Avengers film, I'm debating between Infinity War and Endgame. Because Endgame, to me, is when the heroes felt the most human. At least for the first two acts. Now, the third act is just... The third act of Endgame is like... It's like 10 out of 10 A+ stuff. Like, seriously, when it pans across the group...
So, Movie List disagrees with you.
Well, yeah, I know, and I'm gonna get to this, but, like, the start of the third act of Endgame, when it's all of the heroes that we've been following through 24 films over the past 10 years. All of these heroes finally, because we've seen them cross over in other movies, but we've never seen every single one of them in the same movie. So all of them together, literally tons of heroes, all together, and then it pans down this giant group. Captain America catches the hammer, and then he says the words, "Avengers Assemble." I'm not going to lie, I felt something there. I was like, yeah, it's been the past 10 years. Started with the first Iron Man movie. And it's like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of cool. Like, it gave me goosebumps. I was like, wow. Like, I mean, Endgame isn't, like, an amazing movie by any means. But I don't know, like, that one moment I thought was really good.
Yeah, totally dig it.
Age of Ultron is extremely underrated, but I enjoyed it. However, the first Avengers film is the best. Endgame was, unfortunately, not good at all. Infinity War was great. A lot of people don't like Endgame. I do. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I really enjoyed Captain America: First Avenger.
I thought Captain America: Winter Soldier was great.
For me though, my favorite Avengers film was the original Iron Man. I thought it was awesome. In fact, I can't even recall when a superhero film like made me feel as absent from the world as that movie did. Like
it completely sucked you in.
Yeah, it just completely drew me in. And I'll never forget when the artificial intelligence robot hits him with the fire extinguisher after he crashes. I laughed so hard the first time I saw that.
Some of the funniest stuff.
That was gold, absolute gold.
All right, so we are getting a little short on time here. So final thing, we're gonna just list off a couple things here.
Winter Soldier
is the best MCU. I love Winter Soldier.
People forget about that film. It was a good film. I agree.
I loved it. Like, I thought that was a great film. Like, there were times in Winter Soldier where I thought that Captain America might actually die. Like, the stakes in Winter Soldier just felt...
Sorry. That's a good point.
Remember that Captain America tried to choke Ultron, who's a Oh, yeah, that's true. He did.
Was he trying to choke him?
Or was he trying to crush
the head off the body?
Captain America has super strength, right?
He does.
Iron Man 1 is my favorite Marvel film. I mean,
it's a really good film.
I don't have I don't have a favorite Marvel film. It's too hard to choose for me. But I don't disagree with you. I'll say that. Okay, yeah, I think we covered all of those comments. Okay, so guys, let's try not to start any more long, like, spanned out conversations here. Did get another. What's the most underrated Marvel movie? For me, it's Ant-Man. I really like the first Ant-Man.
You know what?
It's probably the best Paul Rudd movie.
Yeah,
for being honest.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. People don't talk about that film much, but there weren't a whole lot of holes in that movie.
No, I like that movie too. But again, let's try not to spark any other conversations that might lead us to the 2-hour mark. So final thing here. Final thing we're gonna be using to wrap this up.
Too clever. I can't keep up.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What's AOU?
AOU. Age of Ultron.
Right? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Age of Ultron, yes.
I really enjoyed Age of Ultron. In fact, I think I might rewatch it tonight.
Yeah.
This is actually my favorite streaming service right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great streaming service.
Well, you got all the Nat Geo stuff. You know, Disney usually does stuff justice. There's some stuff on there that's kind of like weird and out there and all that other stuff, but show me a streaming service that doesn't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah.
Netflix has weirder stuff. Netflix is upset. Like,
I don't even know who they're targeting anymore.
Go
what are you trying to do?
Go on Netflix and see how long it takes you to find a television show that's not TVMA. See how long it takes you. Netflix is all about exploitation now, and it's kind of sad.
Don't go to Netflix. Don't try to find a TV show that's not TVMA.
They're all
TVMA.
They're all TV.
Don't go to Netflix.
Especially all the Netflix originals. I mean, obviously My Little Pony isn't TVMA.
Hulu's under it. You know, I don't stream Hulu.
I do. That's where I watch Lost, actually.
Oh, you have an account? Oh, okay.
I have...
Am I paying for it?
No, I'm on Mom's account. I have that stuff.
Great.
So I watch... Yeah. See, you don't get to watch Hulu. I have it.
Well, maybe I can stream on your mom's account, too.
Not on the TV, you can't, actually, because it would change the location. But that's why I watch Lost.
So
All
that's
right.
cool.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? How do you want to close this thing?
We're just gonna list off like our top in no particular order because I know it might be hard to list your favorite action movie of all time. I know you said it's probably Aliens, but for a lot of us, especially for me, I just can't choose. There's so many great ones. So to wrap this up, we're gonna list our top 5 favorite action movies, not in a particular order, just 5 action films that we consider to be some of the best of all time. Oh my goodness, yeah, they all know I'm a big fan of Stuckman. How do you Stuckmanize someone? Because when he says that, I think it means because he says click right here and get Stuckmanized. So that means like subscribe, and that means you've been Stuckmanized. The best way I can Stuckmanize you,
go for it.
The best way I can Stuckmanize you is to just put the link to his channel in the description on this video, but I'm not going to. Yeah.
So we've only got 1 like on this. So
and there's 4 people watching.
There's 4 people watching. So can we get?
Come on.
Can we get?
Let's watch it. This is your current homework. There we go. We got 1. Right, 2 more. 2 more. Come on. Just hit the like button. Let's.
Oh.
Reminded me of Jack Nicholson for a second there.
I can't hit you. It's not your turn.
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I haven't seen that movie, obviously.
I can do John Wayne too. If I get another like, I'll do John Wayne.
Give a like and Hill and
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness.
No John Wayne.
Man. All right, hey, we did get another comment. I can't list, but mine are.
Oh yeah, there we go.
John Wick 2.
So John Wayne did a movie called McClintock. In that movie,
we got another like.
He's a reformed boxer who's trying not to fight. A guy insults a woman at a pub in Scotland, and he goes, "That's all right. I ain't gonna hit you. I ain't gonna hit you. All like hell, I ain't."
And he just slugs him across the face.
All right.
Okay, now they're listing their. Your dad looks like. Do you?
I haven't gotten that one. I used to actually get Charlie Sheen a lot until I lost the.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah. He's had a hat on the whole time. Let's look up a picture of Jude Law. Let's see.
Okay, Boomer. Who's Zap Brain? Welcome to the show, Zap Brain. Thanks for coming in, man.
That's Austin, my friend from Enterprise.
What's up, Austin?
What's up? Oh, I moved. I didn't text you. Sorry about that. No, I'm just kidding. I've talked about it in my videos. Yeah. Hey, Zap. Here's the thing. We're actually wrapping up the stream now.
We totally are.
But it automatically uploads after I'm done, so you can go back and watch it if you want.
We had a great time today. Had some laughs. We talked about some really good stuff.
Yeah. And then again, but for official wrap up, top 5 favorite action movies. Movie list gave us John Wick 2. Mission Impossible Fallout, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Aliens, and Terminator 2. I say that's a pretty solid list.
That is a really good list.
I haven't seen Wick 2 yet.
Yeah.
All right. You do kind of look like Jude Law, actually. I don't know.
I kind of do.
Just shave off that middle portion. And...
I would not have thought that.
No offense, but I've always thought you kind of resembled Bill Paxton.
I kind of really. Do I whine a lot?
I think
Bill Paxton seemed to whine a lot.
He argues way too much.
It was just kind
Game over, man. Game over.
Why don't you put her in charge, man?
Do you want to drive? Do you remember Twister?
You want to drive?
It's like Joe is like, there's this whole road thing.
All right, we got another list. Nostalgic says T2, Fallout,
Speed, Edge of Tomorrow. We have not talked about Edge of Tomorrow. Great choice.
Good.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Movie.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Some of the best practical. The Matrix, Star Wars: A New Hope, 1917, The Fugitive. Ooh, yeah.
Great. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Great.
Also with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And then The Dark Knight.
All right.
I think The Dark Knight is probably
How did we miss Edge of Tomorrow?
How did we not?
Man.
And we were even talking about Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt.
Oh my goodness.
Blunt, way underrated actress.
She was also the wife in A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
That scene
awesome.
in A Quiet Place where she's down in the basement and it's kind of partially flooded and the creature's down there and she's trying to get the baby and then the creature goes under the water and she has to walk through the water. Oh my! Her performance in that movie was just think about the horror.
Film.
Yeah,
just a really good film.
All right. You haven't seen 1917 yet.
I know. I have to see that.
You need to watch 1917. I got it right there.
Let's see, Matrix, New Hope, 17.
The Fugitive and The Dark Knight.
And
That's a pretty solid list.
Strong list.
They will make a second Edge of Tomorrow. So yeah, that is true. A second sequel to Edge of Tomorrow is actually in development right now. I'm excited.
I hope it's directed by James Cameron.
It better be directed by James Cameron.
He really is.
He adds
the comment. Was it nostalgic? He was like, James Cameron should direct the second movie of everything.
The second movie of anything, because so many sequels are just not good.
Right.
So now we're gonna go to us. Just list 5 action films that you consider like the essential action films.
I already said Aliens is in there. Raiders of the Lost Ark, the original.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick Last Crusade in my top 5. The original Diehard is just so epic. And then something that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. We talked a little bit about Clancy. Air Force One.
Oh my goodness, Air Force One is so good.
If you're looking for a hidden gem, check out Air Force One.
It has Harrison Ford.
It will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a Tom Clancy, Harrison Ford working together on that film, and it is really awesome.
Air Force One is great. It's on Netflix right now.
It's a smart movie too.
It's on Netflix and it's free on Amazon, so you guys can watch it there. The same director of Edge of Tomorrow will be involved with Tom Cruise. Space movie. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I can see the director of Edge of Tomorrow doing a space film.
Yeah.
Like a sci-fi epic. Speaking of which, you haven't seen Ad Astra yet.
I have not.
It's not an epic.
Somebody commented on Ad Astra before.
Oh, really?
How much they really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved Ad Astra. A lot of people thought it was too slow. You're too slow. Basically, that you're too slow to get the movie. That's my dispute. I mean, you're allowed to not like the movie. I'm obviously just joking. It's on demand for Xfinity. Which one? Edge of Tomorrow? Is that what it's talking? Ad Astra. Okay.
Yeah.
Or
HBO Max.
HBO.
Cool.
Ad Astra was an amazing character study. Yeah, you haven't seen it. When you go into that,
but I'm a fan of character studies, guys. Like, what was the one that I really liked with the one that dealt with the theory of relativity?
Interstellar.
That
was a Nolan film.
Loved Interstellar, man.
Oh my goodness,
great film.
People, I mean, it's not
your list though.
Yeah, okay. For me, and again, there's a lot I haven't seen, like Die Hard T2. So there's some that you're like, why didn't you choose that? It's just because I haven't seen it. Let's see. Ad Astra made you see how big space. Yes, Ad Astra really captured the vastness of space. But let's jump into my favorite action movies. You might be surprised by this list. Collateral's in there.
Okay.
Collateral, the first John Wick, just because of the emotional, and I love the way the action's filmed.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Oh my goodness! I did that scene for a theater assignment.
Okay.
Seriously,
I got your comment, Mr. Movie. I'm gonna check it out. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I saw his performance on that scene.
Oh my goodness! Here's the thing.
Give us a little.
I took theater at my old school where we used to live.
3, 2,
No,
1.
I'm not gonna do. No, I'm not gonna do it here. I may upload. Here's the thing. I had an assignment in my theater class at my old school, and I will get to the rest of my 5, but I just want to tell this. Nobody cares? Seriously, I took that scene in the first John Wick where he's explaining to Viggo why he's out for vengeance, and I had to perform that on the mini stage in my theater teacher's classroom. That was the first time like a group of people actually clapped for me, like for a performance. Now, I'm not like trying to pat myself on the back here, but we watched it because Miss Stevenson was recording it. She filmed all of the things, and then we watched it the next day. And I mean, I don't know. I'll say I'm proud of what I did.
A research paper on action movies being violent or not.
Wait, where do you see that? You did a research paper. See, yeah, here's the thing.
Would you consider Pulp Fiction action?
I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna let you take this one.
I don't. Pulp Fiction is exactly what it is. Pulp Fiction.
It's Tarantino.
There you go. That's what it is. It's his own little genre. It's a bunch of stories and a bunch of character studies that kind of collide in one universe.
Yeah.
It's along the lines of Sin City. But again, those movies, depending on where you are, you have to understand those storylines as they come together and how they come together and what the director and writer are trying to get across, because they all have they've got like objectives in mind when they explain those types of movies. You can't just take them at face value. They're always a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, and Tarantino.
And filter them. I always, when we're talking about those kinds of films, I always caution, especially young people, filter those a little bit, because the enemy's always looking for a way to get in. So you gotta have your guard up.
It's kind of like with Tarantino. It's fairly well known that most of his movies are very violent.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Kill Bill films?
So I enjoy Tarantino's movies. I do. I think he's a creative genius.
I think violence can be tastefully done. Like you take a movie like John Carpenter's The Thing, very violent, very gory, but it was done in a way that didn't make it gratuitous. It was genuinely terrifying.
It has to be done in a way that it is developing the story or developing the character.
Yeah,
like John Wick, the John Wick films.
Yeah. Django Unchained is amazing, however, very violent. I love Tarantino.
Django was a fantastic movie. It really was, and it really told a very good and very interesting story.
He accidentally said Tarantino was his favorite actor, and then he said, I have no idea why I said actor. Worst action movie.
Ooh.
Have you seen Broken Arrow with John Travolta?
I have.
Oh my goodness.
Christian Slater, something happened to him along the way.
You're insane.
Terrible.
Yeah. Ain't it cool? Oh my, do you remember that? I like Broken Arrow.
I do remember that. Swordfish.
Waterworld.
I'm gonna cry. What's crazy about Waterworld is that was released right after Dances with Wolves.
Oh my goodness.
Dances with Wolves is an amazing film.
Yeah, and then you put
Waterworld. And his encore was Waterworld.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I kind of want to finish up my top 5 list.
Let's do your list.
Okay, so I listed Collateral and the first John Wick. Aliens, because it's just essential. Let's see here, because sometimes looking back here does jog my memory. We are going with... Let's go with... I don't know what that was. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Collateral, Aliens, First John Wick. I kind of want to say Mad Max Fury Road just because the action was so good.
That was a disturbing film.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Rampage was awful.
Oh my goodness. But it was fun though. Like that is an entertaining movie. Or maybe not. Skyscraper was an entertaining.
Skyscraper was fun. It was bad. It was fun.
It was fun. Same with the Meg.
Meg was bad, but it was fun.
I think of other action movies right now, and it's weird because I love action movies and I just can't.
Lion King 2019.
Horrible. Literally, the sequence in that film where they sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" It's in broad daylight. They're literally galloping across hills. And
you got 2 more.
2 more. Okay, sorry. So Collateral, John Wick, Aliens.
It feels like you're running at an incredible rate. Movie? Dumb and Dumber. Sorry,
I haven't seen it. Oh wait, I have seen it.
Blame it on my ADD.
Trying to think. This is so weird. Because I love action movies. How am I not thinking of?
This Room is your number 1.
Oh my goodness, that movie doesn't even deserve to be mentioned. I'm going to go with Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And then for number 5, man.
It's got to be Fallout. You love that movie.
I loved it on a technical level.
You gave it an A+, I think.
I did give it an A+. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to throw Fallout in there.
By the way, we're designing the Zachem. If you guys have any interesting ideas of what the Zachem should look like, feel free to post them in comments.
Yeah, yes, the Zachem logo. If you don't know what the Zachem is, my name is Xavier. It starts with an X. So, and Zachem stands for the Xaybeast Award of Cinematic Mastery. XACM Zachem. So, if, give me logo designs. That'd be cool. Winter Soldier had amazing action.
Are we listing bad action movies or good action movies?
Either one. I listed my top 5. So now I guess right before we wrap up, we can talk about some really bad action movies and on some laughs, I guess.
I don't know. Bad action movies make me want to cry.
Crying makes me want to watch bad action movies.
I think we should probably end on that.
We should probably end on that note.
Good deal. Hey,
So we're gonna go cry now.
yeah,
And
this has been a ton of fun.
It was. Have you seen Last Action Hero?
I have talked about your bad action movies. Yes, Rampage is terrible.
Yes, Rampage
Totally
was so
agree.
bad. Hobbs and Shaw?
Didn't care for it.
You know,
Didn't care for it.
the Fast and Furious franchise in general.
I mean, well, there's proof positive right there. You can throw a bunch of actors, like superstars, a bunch of money, some great directors, all-star writers, and that doesn't mean that you're going to get a good movie.
The first Fast and Furious was essentially a Point Break remake, but with street racing. Kind of. I don't know why, but there was a suspicious man in my theater, and it ruined the movie, even though it was bad. You know, people in movie theaters are so rude.
They are, and that's a good point. You know, if you're going to go to a movie, enjoy the cinematic experience. It's not the living room, so don't act like it's your living room.
Yeah.
And maybe if you own a cinema or you're an usher at a cinema, don't forget that one of your jobs is to protect everybody. Right now we're doing social distancing.
Yeah.
Right? So let's keep our distance from one another. Let's be respectful of each other. And let's just go and have a good time. Eat some popcorn, buy some snow caps. If you haven't had snow caps and popcorn in your mouth at the same time, you got to try it.
This guy loves snow caps on popcorn.
Wash it down with a Coke Zero.
And I like it too. I've always thought Sprite was like the best movie theater drink.
He's a Sprite guy.
I love Sprite. I think it's like the most refreshing. Like when I drink Sprite, I feel more refreshed than when I drink Coke. Miniature. Okay.
It's been fun, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm going to get center frame now, and I'm going to wrap this up. Okay. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, for watching the stream. It was a ton of fun. I enjoyed having conversations with you guys. I am going to be improving my background in later videos. This is all I got right now. I'm still unpacking stuff. But yeah, thanks for the great conversations, man. We were only planning to talk for an hour, and we talked for almost 2 now. So yeah, we got 3 likes, 4 people watching. Good stream. Thanks for the discussions. Certain things may have been a little awkward. I apologize about that. You know. But yeah, we are going to end this now. So once again, thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.